Welcome to Heal Dish, the space where healing gets real and you don't have to have it all together to grow. Each week, we explore the nervous system, emotional resilience, and the journey from surviving to thriving. You're not broken, you're healing, and you don't have to do it alone. This is Heal Dish. Let's begin. Hey, friends, welcome back to Heal Dish. How is everyone doing on this fine Monday? It's just me tonight showing up exactly how I am. No big agenda, no fancy topics. Realistically speaking, I'm just checking in today. And so I want to invite you to do the same with me because sometimes life moves so fast that we don't even notice how fast we're really going until we kind of hit that wall. Or kind of a wave hits us. So tonight, let's slow it all down for just a few minutes and actually notice ourselves. And so, how's everyone doing? It's Monday. The weather here, it's still really nice and warm. Wasn't going to actually do the live, but I thought, you know what? At least show up. I can check in, show up, and kind of show up just how I am and things like that. And some days our lives are chaotic and messy, and that's okay. And so I'm showing up just to kind of check in to see how each and every one of you are kind of doing and things like that. And so, personally, I just wanted to kind of check in. No agenda. I know I'd mentioned something about starting with talking about the liver, but I just kind of wanted, that can be for next week, trying to get back into the swing of things and things like that too. Warm. Yeah, well, it is a little hot outside. It is kind of, it's very humid out there and things like that too. And so how's everyone doing? Personal check-in. So how's everyone doing? I'll kind of go first. Today was full. My brain was buzzing with lots of things to do. I have not been able to get in here and actually sit with my eyes and things like that. And so I was able to kind of get in here and work a little bit on my 24-week program. Oh, the heat, it's still 100. Holy mackerel. I might have to go swimming. And so I was working on my 24-week program and things like that too. So, I kind of didn't have a whole lot of tension, but some tension. And before I knew it, my husband was home and I was like, holy moly. So, this morning, I did my supervision with some amazing other colleagues of mine. And so it just reminded me that even in the busy, heavy seasons, little moments of beauty are still there waiting for us to notice them. And so as I was sitting here this morning, even though it was warm, the sun was shining in the windows. I had I didn't have my coffee. I had my tea this morning. And so it was just nice. And it's those little moments of beauty that we sometimes take for granted, that we don't really stop and really take into consideration, God's beauty, exactly what's going on. And so, just being able to pause for a moment and, and kind of let it all absorb in and things like that too, because, hate to say it, but there's not going to be very more summer days. We didn't have a very long summer because spring was just kind of crappy. And so, we're kind of creeping into fall soon. Kids are going to start going back to school and things like that too. So, that's kind of where I am today, a little tired, a little tight, but also grateful. Grateful of things. And, and then, I've gone in the stores and if you have not gone in the stores, like not even a Hobby Lobby, but even like the local Dollar General, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, you'll notice that a lot of them are transitioning from, they've got their school supplies out, but a lot of them are transitioning into Halloween. And as we know, what really sucks is for those that deal with seasonal depression. It really kind of stinks because then what ends up happening is that then we're like, oh man, we start seeing all that, and then we start feeling anxious because it's like we don't want summer to end. And I don't want summer to end either. I love sitting outside, but I do love fall. It's a little bit cooler. You can definitely have your bonfires and not have to worry about it being a scorching heat index of 100 degrees while you're trying to sit out there and roast marshmallows. And I'm really looking forward to sweatshirt weather and things like that too. So wherever you are, it is safe. put down what you're holding for just a second. Let's start with 2 slow breaths. So as always, I like to do some sort of meditation check-in just to kind of see where you're at today. Maybe you're irritated, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're holding some tension in your shoulders and your shoulders are like this up to your ears. Maybe when you're breathing, you're kind of breathing on the top half instead of breathing from your diaphragm. You're just kind of breathing up in your shoulders. And so breathe in through your nose, slow it down, and breathe out through your nose. So you're going to inhale through your nose, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly out your nose. The reason that I don't like to say to breathe out your nose is because I want you to relax. I want you to feel that peace and that calm. And by breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system. If we're breathing in through our mouth and out through our mouth, we're actually activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which causes fight or flight. And that's not what we're doing. We want to reduce that so you can be more calm. So one more time in, hold it for a second, and then breathe out. Gently notice your body. Do you notice any places that feel tense, heavy, or tight? What I want you to do is just notice it without judgment, because we're all we're non-judgy here. When trauma survivors, I like to be real and and things like that too. So, oh wow, you just got the notification. Yeah, see, I guess it is kind of slow. It's okay. So I want you, again, like we don't judge. We only have love and compassion and empathy. And so there's no judgment-free zone. As trauma survivors, I like to do things unscripted. As trauma survivor, I like to do things unscripted because I like people to welcome into my world of what it feels like or what it looks like to be a trauma survivor. And so there are sometimes I do take notes, sometimes I do, and sometimes I do things unscripted. So sometimes when they're unscripted, you just never know what's going to roll off my tongue, and sometimes it's off the wall stuff. But it's okay. Hi, Michael. Good to see you. Yeah, they kind of are. It's all right. And so what I want you to do is feel, again, do you feel tense? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel tight? Anywhere in your body, are you feeling that at this moment? And for me, a lot of it is in, not really my shoulders, because I just did this, but a lot of it has been living in my shoulder blades. And so that's where a lot of the tense and heavy feeling and the tight feeling have really been kind of living and stuff like that. And so is there one place that feels neutral or even good? So I'd say probably the rest of my body feels pretty decent, except for, like I said, my shoulder blades and stuff like that. So maybe it's the softness of your hands or the steadiness of your feet on the ground. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling kind of, like you need to be grounded, I would recommend that you take your shoes off and really, feel your feet in the carpet or on the floor or on the grass, wherever you're watching from. And then name where you are emotionally. If you could pick 1 or 2 words for your current mood, what would they be? It doesn't have to be neat or positive. It just has to be honest. And so for me, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling very accomplished. Again, today was the first time in a very long time that I was actually able to get out and, not get out, but get out here in my office and really work on my computer and do things and those types of things. I'm working on finishing up. I have all of my frameworks and all of my questions wrote. I just have to get them typed up for my 24-week trauma and I'm just going to say trauma release, because it's actually, for anything, but it's good for, it's 24 weeks, because then I can narrow it down and kind of, if somebody wants 12 or 16 weeks, 20 weeks, I can kind of, I can narrow it down, and it'll be more geared towards what they want. And so as of right now, the programs that I have written are for 24 weeks. But again, I can If they only want 12 weeks, I can pick out, from every phase. There's 4 phases, and so I can pick those out and say, hey, these are the ones that I think, and kind of go from there and everything like that. And so I can definitely scale it down to whatever. So I was very proud of myself that, for writing all of those. And then what I did is some people don't like to draw for 2.5 hours. Sometimes they don't have time to draw for 2.5 hours every night. And so I went back in and I scaled down 5 different frameworks so you can do them within 30 minutes and still get similar results. And so that's what I've been doing. Over the weekend, I had the honor of speaking at an adult. It was kind of an adult prom. I want to say more of maybe like an adult gala in a way. And so I had the honor of being one of their speakers. And so I spoke on releasing trauma on the cellular level. We talked about this, how the body keeps the score. So it was just a wonderful evening to be able to speak from a coach's perspective. And as a trauma survivor, most importantly, as a trauma survivor, and give everybody that was there input as far as, trauma just doesn't live in the mind, it lives in the body. And so we can medicate as much as we can. But if you don't start excreting it, releasing it from the body, that medication is not going to do you any good. And so I'm one of those ones. I mean, like I'm very transparent, as a check-in. But, when I had my second eye surgery, on the way there, I started, I don't know, I went into this panic mode for some reason, no idea why. And so I've been dealing with it since, May 21st, I believe it was. And I just keep going and going. I mean, they prescribe me medicine I'm not taking because I do more of the holistic thing and stuff like that. And so I'm just like, it'll be all right. So I take like a supplement that helps. And so I'm just excited to be able to get back to drawing and doing the things that I need, because I feel like I wasn't able to draw for that time leading up from my first surgery to the second. So that gave my nervous system some time to revert back. And so it's really important for me to kind of get back into it and stuff. And so, which was really nice, to kind of get back into drawing and things like that too, and creating videos and posting and stuff like that too. So, which is always nice. And so how are you feeling? What is your current mood? And what emotions, any emotions coming up for any of you that you'd like to share? And then I kind of want you to ask yourself, what do you need now? Do you need rest? Do you need movement, connection? Or do you need permission to be exactly where you are? What do you need? What is your body telling you? And those are things that you need to listen to. That's part of the check-in. That's a check-in. It's simple but powerful. Paying attention to what's going on, being mindful of what's going on in your body. That's the first step to regulation, is awareness. So being aware, being mindful of what's going on, being able to pause, being able to notice ourselves. So we give our nervous system a signal that we're safe enough to stop running for a moment, and that matters, because how many of us are always on the go, 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 go? I used to be one of those ones that I would go all the time. And then I felt like, even when I wasn't going all the time, I was like, yeah, I really have to really go all the time. Because when I stopped and I tried to relax, it was kind of foreign to me. It was like, whoa, my body doesn't like this. Now I can kind of sit in the quietness and I don't mind it. I love sitting outside in nature. I love, being able to hear the birds, hear nature, just hear everything. But most importantly, I'm connecting more with my mind and body. And so I'm starting to be more aware of what's going on. And so, paying attention of saying, okay, I know what my time frame is on being on the computer, because if I overdo it, my eyes start hurting. And then when my eyes start hurting, my head will start hurting right above my eyes here, or my eyes will just be super sore. And that's because after surgery, my eyes don't lubricate like they should. And so I have to blink. I have to remember to blink. I have to put in artificial tears along with my drops. And so it's a doozy. So, you know, if you wonder why I'm blinking a lot, if you notice, that's why. It's because I'm trying to keep my eyes lubricated so my eyes don't hurt as much, things like that. And so, you know, most of the time people, you know, at night when they try to go to sleep, it's when a lot of them start having a lot of, because you run all day and then at night you try to go to sleep. And so, you know, sometimes you can't shut your mind off. And so, you know, that was me. Sometimes I'm just like, I want to play on my phone. And then they tell you not to play on your phone and things like that too. And so, um, it's just trying to relax your mind. It's going back in and saying, okay, what's coming up for me? Why is this? And the more you ignore it, unfortunately, the more it's going to come back stronger. And so it's best just to say, okay, what's coming up for me? Um, and kind of looking at it like that, because it's you giving your mind, it's you giving your body and your mind permission, but you have control. So most people, you know, when they have cognitive distortions or they have these different thoughts, they think, oh, I don't have control over them. And I was that person. I didn't think I had control over my thoughts. And so my thoughts would spiral me into maybe an anxiety attack. And then I'd feel like, oh my goodness, my body would be super nervous till I started realizing that I'm in control. I'm in control of those things. And so it's a matter of realizing what can you say. And so when I have a cognitive distortion or some kind of wonky thought that comes to mind, I usually say 1, 2, 3, Holy Ghost. Or what I do is I say, okay, God, I'm casting this down to you. It's for you to take over and do whatever you want with it. But I want a Christ-like mind, and the enemy is not giving me, you know, attacking my mind or anything like that. And so it's really speaking to it. It's not ignoring it, it's speaking to it, because the more that you speak to it and you do something with it, like, I'm safe, I'm okay, thought, I know that this thought is not real. Those types of things you have to tell yourself. And so when those types of things start happening, you start diminishing those thoughts, those negative thought processes and stuff like that too. So which is nice. But it took me a little while. It took me, a little bit of time before I started realizing that I have control over my thoughts. And there are still times they try to creep in and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Nope. And then I catch what's going on before it makes me super nervous or anything like that and stuff like that. So, most of all, you're not broken and you're not alone. And so I think some people, when they walk around and they have cognitive distortions, that they have negative thoughts, we can't see those things. And so people, sometimes they're afraid to say anything because they're like, oh, if I say something, they're going to think I'm a lunatic or I'm crazy or I'm mental. And realistically speaking, you're not. It's just a part of the recovery process, the healing process. It's a part of your brain. I know it's weird, but it's a part of the brain saying, okay, this is survival, and something is coming up in your body that's, maybe bringing on those thoughts and those cognitive distortions and things like that too. Because remember, we are a product of our environment. And so if you lived in a negative environment, chances are that's the type of personality, unfortunately, that you're going to have. You're going to be a negative person. Not always, but chances are that's the type of person that you're going to end up being. And those are the type of people that you're going to be a magnet to, is people that are negative, because they're fueling your soul. And so just taking time for yourself and paying attention, what's coming up, what emotions are coming up, what feelings are coming up, what sensations do you feel? And so, really paying attention to that and, really understanding some things really makes a huge difference. So how's everyone else doing? Everybody on this Monday, how was your weekend? We had a good weekend. Hey, Dave, good to see you. We didn't do much. We had family visiting for most of the weekend, and then again, I did that. I did my speaking on Saturday, Um, and so it was nice. It was a nice chill weekend. It's been too hot to really go fishing, and poor Sly, he's been working a lot, so he's tired. So we really haven't been able to get out and really do a whole lot. Again, it's really hot. Um, oh, good for you. Dave said he got some fish on the board finally for catch 22. Fantastic. So yeah, we haven't been out to be able to fish. It's been kind of hot, and then um, even in the evening time, and then the evening time it's still hot as a firecracker here. So it's like which is nice, but hopefully a couple weeks it'll maybe won't be so hot. Although I hate to see the summer go because I am definitely a summer person and stuff like that too. So. But if you're one of those ones, I do want to say, like, if you are one of those ones that deal with seasonal depression, I would highly recommend that you really check in with your body and things like that too, especially if you go into the store, because a lot of that can be triggering. It can be triggering to us when we look at that stuff because you think of Halloween, oh my goodness, that's fall. And then before long, they're going to have Christmas. And then it's like, oh my goodness. And then it's just going to be like, holy mackerel. So, um, and so making sure that you're checking and taking care of yourself. So Michael said, weekend was hot, celebrated my wife and daughter's B-days and went fishing, of course. Absolutely. Well, I hope you had a wonderful time celebrating both of them. Did some fun things. And Dave said, yeah, you got to get out at 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. Well, that would be nice. Good. If Sly wasn't working. So that would be really good, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you have. Maybe one of these days you can get back out there. I know that's kind of that's your therapy. That's what you enjoy doing. So hopefully pretty soon that's something that you'll be able to get into and stuff like that as well, which would be nice. Which would be good. So next week, no, I know it's just so hot, and it's just like trying to replenish, all of your electrolytes and all that stuff. It takes a toll on you. That heat takes a toll on you. I can only imagine. And so it takes a lot of energy when you're working out in all that heat and be able to sit out in it to go fishing. I mean, even though it's something that you enjoy, but it's like, holy macaroni, and stuff like that too. So. And so one thing I do want to kind of invite you, if you find that you're having some nervous system dysregulation, we went over the 5 signs. If you're having some nervous system dysregulation, cognitive distortions, intrusive thoughts, you're having like a spike in anxiety, depression, you just kind of jittery from your anxiety, kind of being all over the place. You have brain fog, maybe the tightness in your chest. Different things like that. What I would like to invite you to is a deeper kind of healing, a deeper kind of a program that I'm actually doing, and it's something special, and it's called Ripples of Gratitude. And so it's this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So this is one of the arts the neurosomatic art that I have created, and I kind of narrowed this down from 2.5 hours to 30, 45 minutes, just depending on. But it is a live 30-minute art and mindfulness experience where you'll literally create the feeling of gratitude on paper together. And so what I love about it, it's calming, it's colorful, and you don't need a single ounce of art skill to join in. And that's what I absolutely love. And so I'd love it if any of you would like to be there. And so what I love about it is it's something that's not going to take a long time, still has effective results, repairing, rewiring, reconnecting your neural pathways and your subconscious, which I absolutely love. But the ripples of gratitude is something that, bringing back to yourself those things that we cherish, those things that we love, those things that bring us love or not love, but gratitude, the things that we're grateful for. And when you start seeing those things, sometimes they get lost in the mix of things. And so it's through art that we're able to express and bring that stuff back to ourselves. And so um, it's super calming. It regulates your nervous system, regulates your emotions during the process. You use the left and right hemispheres of your brain. Your vagus nerve is actually activated, which is, the part that runs down your neck all the way down, comes back in a T. But that's, there's a lot of scientific research about the vagus nerve as far as, calming the nervous system, things like that. So that's activated. We activate more of the calm, and it's going to be amazing. So you can go to artoftransformation.life and sign up. It's called Ripples of Gratitude, and that is Wednesday at 7 p.m. And even if you don't want to do it, if you have a spouse or a son or daughter, teen, grandkids, whatever, and somebody else wants to try it, you're more than welcome to. It won't be very activating, meaning that you won't have a lot of anxiety, anything like that, or any nervousness, things like, you might be nervous because it might be your first class, but as far as different things, there won't be a whole lot that's coming out because this is a positive one, Ripples of Gratitude. And so again, we're bringing gratitude back to ourselves. What are we grateful for? Sometimes we get caught up in the midst of things and we forget to look at what are we so grateful for. And so, just taking a moment to realize those things, which is, again, and another thing that I love about it is it starts increasing your resilience. And so that's another thing that I love about it as well. And so it'll be, I believe I have 5 of them. And so I might offer, one every month leading up just to see. And so, again, it's for anybody. And it's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Sly. No, he did it wrong. I'll type it in. He did his best. He forgot the HTT and then the dot and then backslash. Hopefully I did it right this time. It's all right. I appreciate your help though. There. I always forget it's life. I always want to say .com, but there it is there. Scott's on his way. He's a little late, ain't he? It's all right. I was actually a little late getting it on. No, I appreciate you trying, so it's okay. And so that's the website you can go. But so I'll do a little bit of the introduction to neurosomatic art and kind of get into it. But it's a good thing, as far as checking in, creating that calm and cool and collective space that we need. Especially again, like I said, here we are in the middle of August, and they already have Halloween stuff, and then they have Christmas stuff out. And so I'm just like, holy mackerel! Like sometimes people just don't realize how triggering that is, especially again if we have seasonal depression. And when you get down in the dumps, and then you're thinking, oh my goodness, when it comes Halloween or Christmas, the bad weather, not really bad weather, but the cold weather starts coming, and then there might be a lot of snow, and then we can't get out and do anything. And so that starts ruminating in our mind. And so our body remembers those things. And so it's very, very important to check in with yourself and say, okay, what's going on? Why don't I like this? And things like that too. And really, really taking the time to sit with yourself and understanding exactly what's going on. So if he doesn't hurry up, I'm going to be like, I'm going and getting me some ice cream. Oh, goodness gracious. It's all right. I actually, like I said, I wasn't even going to get on here and even talk this evening. And so it was kind of last minute. I was like, I'm just going to show up how I am and no ice cream. Listen to Scott. And kind of show up how I am. No agenda, just checking in and just seeing how everyone's doing and just kind of doing those types of things and stuff and kind of seeing what's going on and checking in with everyone. And so again, we have no agenda, just checking in. Hi, Scott, and just kind of seeing what's happening with everybody. And again, because as we unwind, it's checking in. We're getting ready to go into, we have about another month, but in that month we're going to switch to fall. And so it's looking at those seasons and going, okay, giving you the tools and resources that you need now for when fall comes and then winter comes, especially with a lot of seasonal things that start occurring. And so if we can kind of touch on those things now, hopefully it'll help you have those skills and resources available, those tools and skills and resources available to help you as we get through, as we get into the other months and stuff like that. And so when you know that you have seasonal depression, it's being proactive. What can you do to help yourself as you get, as you're getting closer to that, and things like that too. And so, that's another thing to check into, just making sure that you're checking in with yourself and really paying attention, like what, when it comes up to anything, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever it is. A lot of us don't like to be indoors. I know I'm one of them. Like, I would have rather been outside today, but instead I knew, oh my goodness, I have to get my program done. Or my course. It's a program course. I had to get that done, although it's still not done. But I am. So, it's just like, I'll get it done. And, and that way there it's finished. And so I'm going to start recording, because I'm going to do a self-pace, 12, 16, and 24 week trauma release program, which, is good for trauma, anxiety, depression, ADHD, anything that you can think of, it can be used for. And so I want to start recording that. I'll probably wait till the kids go back to school in a couple weeks. That way there I can sit in here without any interruptions and things like that too, and stuff. But that's, on my list as well. And, I have a lot of other things coming up for me. So Scott says he's going to see his counselor twice this week. Did you have a bad week, or are you just like, what's going on? Or you just missed a week and you felt like you needed to? There's been times that I've had to see my coach twice in a week because things just aren't. So and it's okay, especially when you're and that they're there, which is really helpful. So again, I want to invite you Friday. Jeez, listen to me. I'm like, oh, Friday, yeah, let's go Friday. Jeez, it's like my mind's like, oh, on Friday already. To Wednesday, this Wednesday, I believe that's the 13th. 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm doing a class. It's called Ripples of Gratitude, and it's about bringing gratitude back to us, the things that we're grateful for, bringing them back to us, building resilience. And so you can sign up at artoftransformation.life. And I also have free classes that I offer once a month and stuff like that too. So which is nice. So, but today, again, we're just doing unscripted, no agenda, showing up how I am. I'm just checking in with everybody, see how everyone's doing. Next week, we will start diving into the liver, how the liver affects mental health, how the liver affects, anxiety, depression, overall health, because everything's filtered through the liver. And so there's a lot that I am learning from myself, having MTHFR, just a lot that I'm learning as a trauma survivor. And there's just a lot. There's a lot that I'm learning because the liver filters a lot of different, well, I shouldn't say a lot. It filters everything. And so if your liver's not healthy and it's not detoxing, it's going to get backed up. And then you're going to start feeling sluggish. And we don't want that to happen. Can't have no time for sluggishness. Same thing with your computer. You got too many tabs open, your computer's going to run slow. You got to close those tabs. So it's exactly the same thing with your liver. You got to learn to close and get rid of all the junk, the viruses, whatever's living in there. And so we'll talk more about that next Monday. I'm excited for that as well, and things like that. So, which really helps. So again, like I said, I didn't really have much, just checking in with all of you to see how everything's going. So before we go, this is going to be a short one. Like I said, I didn't really have a liver cleanse. Yeah, you can definitely do a liver cleanse, but there's a couple other things. I'll have some products that I would recommend. But again, I'm not a doctor, so I would recommend that you check with your doctor and stuff like that too. But some things that I would recommend, as we go along, I'll kind of share some of those things with you and stuff like that. So, well, Dave, I hope and pray that everything is okay on that. And that is, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I know my son, he's in remission, or he has no sign of cancer, so remission right now, but he had it, I think, 4 years ago. He had testicular cancer. And so he has to go through he has to go through the PET scans. I think it is like I don't know what it is now. I might be like every couple of years, and then, afterwards, then he doesn't have to go anymore. So I'm grateful that he's cancer free, and I'm hoping that you are as well, or you continue to stay that way. And so one of the things I do want to remind you that whatever you're feeling, whatever is going on, it's there's nothing wrong with you or however you're feeling right now in the moment. Sometimes we're having a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. And so sometimes those feelings are just a part of our survival, part of where we are in life. And so, you're a human being, you're doing your best with what you have, and that's enough. It's checking in and saying, you know what, I'm not broken. I'm not alone. I have a community of other people to guide me, to help me, to love me, to be there, to support me, to show compassion and empathy. And so just remember that, you have a community here, each and every one of you. We're all in this. Whether you're a trauma survivor or not, we're all here for each other. And that's most important. So, well, I hope this test shows that you're still there. So that would be fantastic. So it's still early. I don't know if a lot of you are on the East Coast. If it's dark there, it's still pretty light where we are. And so my daughter wants to go swimming. I don't know if I'll take her swimming or what I'll do, but she wants to go swimming, so we'll see. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for checking in with me tonight. And, just kind of being here, holding space for each other, being here, listening, sharing. You bring hope and inspiration and empowerment to other people that, those people that maybe, have been sitting on the sidelines, just listening and watching and reading your comments and things like that. And, week after week and stuff like that. And maybe, something we've talked about, something that was said just kind of sparked a little bit in them for them to, see about opening up and going and getting the help that they need. And I'm hoping that, they can feel the love and the compassion that we have here at Healdish, and understand that as trauma survivors, we understand, what it feels like, and stuff like that too. And And, and remember to, to take that time to pause, for yourself and things like that too, because you're important. You are very important and you're amazing. And those are things that, sometimes we don't think that about ourselves, but you are. And so again, here at Healdish, we are very compassionate, empathetic, empowering. And so I like to be inspirational. I like to be empowering, whether it's male or female, because, it's about lifting each other up, holding each other up, and things like that too. And so that's what we are. We're a community. We like to have fun. We like to laugh, but we like to be real in the process. We like to share raw truth about mental health and trauma. That's what it's all about. Bringing the truth, bringing the tools and resources that a lot of people don't talk about. So that's what we're all about, is bringing education from a neuroscience, neurobiology perspective, talking about neural, the mind, and somatics, the body, talking about when trauma lives in the body, how do you get it out? How do you release it? So what are the after effects of trauma? How does trauma affect us? How can we rewire the brain, neuroplasticity? So there's just so many things that we could talk about and stuff like that. And so, and learning about, the physiological, the systems within, lymphatic system, the respiratory, the heart, the nervous system, all of those things, because they all play a key role with, when the after effects of trauma. There's things that happen to our physiological when we have the after effects of trauma, unfortunately. And so some of them people don't identify because they've been walking around and they think it's absolutely normal, when in fact it's really not normal. It's just been a part of their life for so long. And so when you get to the other side of that, you're like, holy smokes, like I didn't know that things could be better. And so things can be. It's a matter of walking one foot in front of the other and knowing that it's not about a giant leap. It's just walking one foot in front of the other slowly. Because when you go to take that giant leap, unfortunately, what ends up happening is sometimes we take a giant leap and we forget to do what's in the middle. We find ourselves reverting back to old ways and going back to old things that we used to do because we haven't healed those parts of us. And you might also find out that when you start healing parts of you, that other things start coming up. And that's because you built safety within your body. And so that doesn't mean that you're reverting back to anything. That doesn't mean you're broken. That doesn't mean anything. It just means you're healing. It means that your body is feeling safety. Your body is protection. It's protecting you. And so it's starting to feel safe now because you've uncovered other things and other things that you're healing. So now it thinks, oh, that I'm healing this. Now I can open up this door. And now you have the tools and resources of what you've learned to overcome that obstacle. Now I'm going to open up another doorway, and hopefully that will help you as well on your healing journey as well. And so sometimes it's flooding, sometimes it's your emotions. Sometimes your emotions are overloaded, and things like that. That's happened to me, that sometimes my emotions are all over the place. Other times I'm just feel like I'm like blank. I have nothing, but I guess it just kind of depends on what season of life you're in, where you are. And so make sure that you hit the like. If you're new, I would appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe. We do here at Healdish. We do raw, real trauma, after effects of childhood trauma. Everything that I share is transparency from my life, but an education from a neuroscience and neurobiology perspective, life experience perspective. So you can understand what it's like to walk in the shoes of a trauma survivor if you're not one, and to really see firsthand what a trauma survivor kind of goes through and kind of has to deal with. A lot of people will say, oh, just get over it, or shut, or yeah, just get over it. And I wish that I could get over it, because if I could have shut the light switch off a long time ago, it would have been off. And I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everybody. If we could shut the light switch off, it would have been off a long time ago. But unfortunately, that's not how this works. Recovery doesn't work this way. Healing doesn't work this way. We have to put in the work. And if you want to get better, you have to put in the work. There's no and if buts about it or anything like that. You have to put in the work. And so it's about working on the mind and the body, because the body keeps the score. And so you just can't work on the mind because it's in the body too. You have to do both. So you have to do something somatically to start releasing that from the cellular level. And so with me, I do neurosomatic art. And so that's what I do. And so, tonight, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for kind of listening to me and checking in with me, listening to me check in, and hopefully you guys checking in with yourselves as well. And then, I really hope that you'll pause for the evening for just a minute and take some time to rest. Take some time to reflect on some good things. What are the things that, that over the last week, things that reflect on the good. You can reflect on the bad, but when you think about the bad, think about how you can grow from what happened. What is it that happened that you can learn from and grow from? And then to make sure that you pause a little bit this evening, just, again, taking time for yourself. So you're not so busy, taking time to reflect, taking time for yourself. And I will see each and every one of you next Monday. Again, we will start a new, not even a series, but we're going to start. I'd like to indulge more about liver nutrition, cleanses, all of that stuff, and how it pertains to how trauma actually affects the liver and things like that too. And so that's what we're going to dive into next week. And so come with your pads and your paper and an open mind and things like that too, and kind of see what happens and kind of go from there. And so until next time, I hope everyone has a amazing rest of your Monday, a blessed week, praying for your safety over each and every one of you as you go out and fish, as you go out and work, praying for a hedge of protection from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Just again, as you're fishing, as you're working, as you're traveling, and praying for blessings, healing, abundance in the mighty name of Jesus. And so again, I hope each and every one of you have a amazing week, and I will see you here next Monday. Good night, everyone.